Y'all, it's time for some damn good tacos and college football. We're excited to announce our title sponsor, Torchy's Tacos, for the Arkansas Football Report with Otis Kirk, and the new addition to the Hogville.net family, the Arkansas pregame show starring former Hog running back Marshall Foreman, hosted by Jason Pattison. If you're looking for a place to unwind and call the Hogs, Torchy's is the place. Torchy's location on MLK in Fayetteville is the proud host of the Arkansas pregame show, and it will air 2 hours prior to kickoff of each Fayetteville home game. The Arkansas Football Report airs every Thursday at 7 p.m. in Rogers. Check out the full-service bar on the patio or in the restaurant while you cheer Arkansas on to victory. Torchy's has you covered with the daily drink specials or the taco of the month with their queso that's made in-house fresh daily. Torchy's has 2 convenient locations in Northwest Arkansas, which happen to be the only 2 locations here in the great state of Arkansas. They have you covered for some damn good tacos, and go Hogs. Everybody, welcome to a Hogville.net special this evening. I feel like we really need to get ahead of this a little bit. I want to thank Torchy's Tacos, our proud sponsor here at the Hogville location, for all of your football wants, needs, everything with Otis's show at Torchy's and Rogers, and Marshall's show at the Fayetteville location as well. I want to give everybody tonight a platform to vent not only your frustrations, your concerns, hell, even your resolutions on what could be a fix, long-term, short-term, or even just something that would be palatable for the fans alone to not only be able to embrace it, accept it, but help perpetuate the NIL program, not only at Arkansas, or if there's another school that you're interested in as well. There's been a lot going on here the last 48 hours as well. With the thoughts with Hunter Yurachek and everything he was talking about over the on Monday at the Little Rock Touchdown Club. Sorry, y'all, kind of adjusting this here a little bit. There's been a lot of chatter. There's been a lot of folks that have had their own opinion, and not only opinions but frustrations. I want to give you guys a space that throw those comments up there. I'll go over all of them. We'll discuss every one of them, as long as you keep it clean. But if you keep it clean, we will talk about any and all of this. I've got breakdowns for you. I've got price breakdowns on how it's affecting each household that decides that they want to jump into the NIL game. Do they want to make that decision on either being with the NIL game or a contributor to the foundation? I think that's a line that the university really hasn't put a demarcation in as far as expectations. Now, it's kind of come across tone deaf in a way that the economy sucks right now. It does. End of story. Especially here in Northwest Arkansas, and I'll go over that too, because 4029, I'm giving them some props on this one. I probably shouldn't, but they had a great breakdown of it. If KNWA did, I would put that out there in a heart, because that's our partner. And I probably am crossing lines here, and I'm fine with that, just because, you know what? The people need to know. End of story. It doesn't matter who it is at this point, because when it comes down to making sure that you have a good quality of life in a great place here in Northwest Arkansas, that's first and foremost. And you have, it seems like and I wouldn't say relentless, but I would say it's very persistent need and ask for more money, when a lot of people don't have it right now. So throw your comments, questions, concerns, everything you can think of, throw them up there. I do need to update that top 25 at the bottom there. That is from last week. I'll have to get that down. I'll get that posted here just shortly, and we'll take a break probably right around the 20-minute mark, and so then at that point I'll get that updated. So let's let's go over this for just a few moments here. Let's talk about what Hunter Yurachek had said during the Little Rock Touchdown Club, that it sucked being in a world with the way the NIL is. He says our NIL sucks right now. Says that we need, essentially, there's right around 1,000 folks that are in the Arkansas NIL collective with Arkansas Edge. Says that for Arkansas to be competitive, they need 10,000, which means that they are 9,000 short. Ole Miss was brought up, and the reason why is because they're right around the 5,000 mark as far as that goes, in which is 5 times what Arkansas has. And the number of households that Hunter Yurachek was referring to wasn't all that high, which is 10,000 households in the state of Arkansas. But what he didn't differentiate was the folks that own houses versus maybe rent. You have a lot of casual fans, especially up here, like with Northwest Arkansas. It's kind of a melting pot a little bit. And as you start to get further away from Northwest Arkansas, you start to see more of the rooted Arkansans here in the state. Kind of gets a little watered down with Little Rock just because of the size of the state, sizes of the city, its state capital. But outside of those two spots here in the state of Arkansas, you've got folks that have been here for eons. I'm talking generations. People that have not only stayed here because they love this state, stayed here because this is where their families are from. They didn't move away just to move away. They stayed here because of family history and ties to the community, ties to their neighbors, friends that they have here in the state. And whenever an athletic director comes out and says, hey, I need 10,000 households to give me $100 a month for the next 12 months, I feel like it kind of comes across tone deaf in the fact that there are some stipulating factors out there that he doesn't want to bring up because he's trying to get the brass tacks of the message across. People have said that, bad salesman, tone deaf, this, that, and the other. He was just bringing you a piece to the puzzle that they're trying to construct and create at the University of Arkansas to make them a player in the NIL era. He said that it wasn't on the athletic director or the head coach. Let's face it for just a second. If you've got a head coach that's not winning, you have a program that's not going to bring in money. Never has, never will. Now, if that was an 8-4 season last year, I guarantee that there will be a lot more people in this state to be willing to give money to this collective or to the Edge, because they know that the product is good. It's perpetuating. It's continually rolling in a positive direction. And it doesn't have this up and down line that you see going across the last few years. Arkansas is getting outbid by schools. Plain and simple. You're losing players, not in the portal, also through recruitment, because Arkansas doesn't have the money to be able to compete with some of these schools. It's kind of a catch-22 in a way. If the program does good, that means that money's coming in. The program's not doing good, money's not coming in. But I think that the boat that Hunter Yurachek is in, that he's rowing upstream in right now with a basically kind of a broken off paddle, is that he's asking for even more money to be dumped into a program that's not winning. And that's a hard pill to swallow for anybody, especially if there are any economic problems, if there's any different people that are going from job to job, for instance, if folks are let go. those sort of things happen, and I feel like a lot of the people that are affected by these things are probably they're going to be the loudest right now. He knows this. He understands this, and he wasn't. I know this is going to sound bad when I say this, but he probably wasn't talking to you about this. He was talking about the people, or he was talking to the people that do have funds that are able to make those contributions at this point, and the unintended consequence was he pissed off most of the fan base. Tony Delk. All right, or Kevin Delk. Sorry, Tony. He was a great basketball player at Kentucky, but Kevin Delk. Hunter is very tone deaf, bad salesman. I'm not paying athletes to pay. Not my job. I don't know where the NIL money is going and who is managing it. That is a very great point, Kevin. I think that's also another one of the reasons why fans have been so stinking pissed off about this thing is because of the transparency of who's it going to, how much is going to whom, and which sport's getting the most. Well, let's face it. By the numbers, basketball's 1, football's probably 2 right now. A lot of folks don't want to hear this, but Arkansas is kind of a basketball school and not a football school, and has been for a while. And you could almost even argue to say that Arkansas may be more of a baseball school than football. So basketball, baseball, football. When you have an athletic director that's asking for $100 a month from 10,000 households, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people have already done the math on this, and you probably kind of see where I'm going. That equates to $1 million a month. So it's $12 million a year that is going to put Arkansas football back in a competitive arena for football. This isn't basketball. This isn't baseball, which that's another thing that we'll get to with another day. This is, by and large, just for football only, which means that you're asking for $12,000 a month. So if you're at 10% of that, Arkansas's got $1.2 million for NIL for football. And they're getting outbid and run hard. Is basically what it was conveyed. That message was conveyed to on Monday by Hunter Yurachek at the Little Rock Touchdown Club. All right, Leslie Byram. Well, it wouldn't be a conversation without a conversation, but NIL's actually been going on for 50 years, but now it's legal. It's most definitely. Even if you watch the opening of the Little Rock Touchdown Club on Monday, they even made light of it with a Trans Am and a what was that? A briefcase full of cash, which was Eric Dickerson. Is exactly what happened. He woke up one morning and all of a sudden there was a new car outside and a whole thing of cash. No note, no nothing at all. Everybody knows it came from Texas A&M. If I'm not mistaken, it might have come from SMU. I'm not sure, but I think it was from A&M, and then he still went to SMU anyway. If there's folks out there that can refute that, please let me know. But you have an athletic director that's asking that you give $100 a month for 12 months. So you're asking, let's do the math for this for just a few moments. So let's dive into this. You're asking for $1,200 a year from a family, correct? Say that they're a foundation member, season ticket holder. They buy merchandise, and they also buy souvenirs or concessions. And you've got folks at paying for subscriptions through streaming service or direct TV or however you pay for your TV. Leslie Byram, Dickerson James, or the Pony Express or XS, that's the 30 for 30, got a whole lot of money, and the death penalty was not worth it, I guess. Yeah, so much to the point where the NCAA swears that they're never going to go back to that again. But so to park, I was looking at it on the foundation website, $750 for a parking pass. I think that's where the baseline is. And then your foundation dues, which is the lowest, which is between $50 and $99, goes up to $25,000. Usually Tush Hog is right around the mark where you're able to get some pretty decent seats inside of Reynolds Razorback Stadium. So you're looking at a donation of between $1,000 to $2,000. And then you're looking at the season tickets, which is right around, I think, $300. And then you go up from there. So say, for instance, and by the way, you have add-ons, chairbacks, tailgating spots over in the gardens, those sorts of things that you can add on to that. Now, I'm not even going to add on gas, hotels if you're coming from out of town, expenditures for food going back and forth. God forbid if you have a flat tire or you have to make an auto repair on the way back or down. Take all of that away for just a moment. Let's add this up, y'all. So you're giving $100 a month, so you're looking at $1,200. And then $750 for your parking spot. And then say 50. We're going to go 50, lowest level possible. 50 for your dues. That's going to get you 2 tickets. So if you're going to have to double that, so let's go 1,200 or let's go 1,000 for the Tush Hog. Okay. And then you got, say, 4 tickets, $300 spot. And that's another $1,200 again. So you're asking for right around $4,200, of which only $100 or only $1,200 of that is going to the collective. Now, we're not including TV services. We're not including the rest of that stuff that we were just talking about. Just foundation tickets, parking, and NIL Edge donations. You're looking at $4,200 a year. Divide that out by 12 months. Say, for instance, you save all year for it. That's $350 a month that you are having to commit towards Razorback games, 6 games a year. And that number probably could easily be doubled just due to the simple fact that you have gas and everything else you spend that goes into this. Okay. That's why this is such a hard get for a lot of folks. And that's why so many people are enraged. I don't think that if Hunter goes over this information, possibly in a way sort of like this, it doesn't come across tone deaf. It doesn't come across as him talking at the Razorback faithful, but him talking with the Razorback faithful. And I think that's where he really kind of missed the boat a little bit, because you could tell he was trying to talk to people, but it come off as him talking at folks. And I guarantee the next time that he gets the chance to go in front of a camera, it's not going to be like this, because he understands. He's pretty in tune with the fan base. I know that folks get really pissed off at him, but he is in tune with the fan base. And he's heard the reactions, and he's going to get a chance. He'll get a chance to go up in front of everybody again at some point and say, hey, you know what? This is what happened. This is how it came off. I didn't mean to sound this way. Because if he doesn't do that, and if he not only stands on what he says, he doubles down on it, that right there is the start of alienating a fan base. And when you do that, by God, the door is pretty close at that point. Leslie, again, Walmart, JB Hunt, Dillard's, Tyson's, George's Chicken, Cargill need to step up their game for Razorbacks. Take me to affect a lot of these people bringing their children to the game, and they're really out of money because they're spending for their families, and now for the university wants a little bit. Yeah, that's I think that's you hit the nail on the head right there. That's where a lot of this problem is aligning with a lot of folks because we've already been over just for the first 20 or so minutes. So I'm going to take a quick break here for just a moment, and we're going to go over another part of this that I want to really expand on because I found a very interesting number yesterday that leads me to believe that folks are starting to slip away from the college game itself and take their money elsewhere. So going to be back here in just a moment, and this is a Hogville.net special, a conversation about the NIL collective. Everybody, welcome back here to Hogville.net special, talking about the Arkansas NIL and the collective and kind of the firestorm that kind of started on Monday after some after remarks that Hunter Yurachek had made and trying to really rally the fan base. That was his intent. That was his purpose. It just unfortunately wasn't received that way, really, from the Arkansas faithful. I feel like there was I would I would say kind of two tone deaf messages, one from each side. Really, let's just face it, one from each side. One on just Hunter Yurachek expanding on a piece of NIL that he was hoping to help rally the fan base around, and then the fans saying, "Well, all the big money people need to keep pouring money in." Those two things, when both sides say that, everybody shuts down. Everybody says, forget it. I'm not listening to this mess anymore. We're not making any progress. If we're reverting back to the same old slogans that we've been saying for the last 20, 30 years, there's no sense in it. Got a couple of comments here. Anybody that wants to throw up any comments up there, by gosh, go ahead and put them on up there. Oh, Leslie Scott, Arkansas beating Auburn 44-17. I have faith in the Razorbacks will show up. As always, I enjoy your broadcast, and I'll continue watching. I'm not chatting anymore. Okay. Well, make sure to jump on with Otis and I tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, live at Torchy's and Rogers, and we'll have the Arkansas football report with him. And then I know Kevin does all of his great work in the mornings with the basketball team, and so be sure to check out all of that and all the great content that we have here on Hogville is always free. So we talked about the first part of this with the Arkansas NIL collective on how much money really it comes down to a family being asked on how much to donate and spend to make Arkansas competitive, which was right around just for parking, foundation donation, season tickets, and then NIL donation was right around $350 a month or $4,200 a year total for 12 months. So I kind of teased a little bit before we went off that I found a very interesting stat that was provided by the NFL that the increase in ticket sales last year alone was 38%. That's huge. 38%. Some of that might be a little bit of Taylor Swift. Not going to lie, just how that is. And you've got the Swift effect that does happen in there's multiple cities across the nation, different teams, sometimes primarily Kansas City just because of the fact that it's Travis Kelce. But I honestly want to say that it's due to some of the NIL problem as well. Because you've got more schools asking more people for more money when you have an NFL product that's not. One of the reasons why is because they're able to, because of their revenue sharing with their TV rights. Roughly, college football is looking around, and this is just the Power Four. This isn't all 300 some odd schools or however many it is total in NCAA and Division One, D2, NAIA, all that mess. The Power Four is looking right around $12 to $15 billion in TV rights a year. No, I'm sorry. That's over a 10-year period. So right around that. The NFL is looking at $111 billion that they just signed this offseason for over an 11-year period, which is right around $10 billion. That's a huge amount. You have, right, and if I'm not mistaken, I was doing the calculations, and the Power Four is sitting at right around 3. So the NFL is 3 times as much with the TV rights in the revenue sharing, which is able to keep some of the costs down. But instead of asking fans for more money, they're just giving it to you in the ticket sales, which a ticket's going to average between $300 to $800 depending on where you sit. And if you sit up in the nosebleeds, it's going to be cheaper than $300. And if you go into third party markets, it might be a little less, might be a little more. And I think that's one of the reasons why you're starting to see some of the shift go from the college game to the NFL game, just for the simple fact that you don't have a constant clamor for we need more money. There's a way to go about doing this. There's a great way of going about doing this. And I think that you have to have a drive, a fundraising drive once a year. Simple. Ask folks once. That's it. You don't want to have to sit there and continue to ask people and beat a dead horse. Folks, stop listening. Folks, stop responding. Folks, stop giving. And that's what you're starting to see right now. And that's between that, the transparency part, folks want to know where their money goes. And I think that can be cleared up. I think that that's something that you just can't have an athletic director say, "Oh, nope, we're just going to start showing everybody where our money goes." Because then if you do that, then you got other athletic directors that are jumping down his throat. I do think it's quite funny that Tennessee is wanting to add a 10% gratuity on their tickets because if they're not able to get it through their collectives like Arkansas and so on and so forth. They're just going to make you pay for it no matter what and call it a talent fee. Well, if you ask me, it sounds like a gratuity fee, really. We're just going to add 10% on there because that's what, pay the waiters. I'm waiting for the day, and I was talking to a buddy of mine last night, and I said, there's going to be a day where all the chair backs are going to have a little LED screen on the back of them, and something's going to come over that video board and say, all right, everybody, if you would like to donate to your collective, please look at the screen right in front of you and give you an option to literally pay right there. It's going to happen. I don't know who's going to come out with it first, but I guarantee something like that could happen. I know that I've been critical of the Arkansas brass a little bit, and that's fine. I feel like those are checks and balances. You have to make people, if you're going to do and do business in this area, in this space, you have to have some accountability. I feel like that has been lacking, not just because of what Arkansas has been doing, but the NCAA as a collective whole. There hasn't been any accountability. And the next step has to happen is a salary cap. End of story. And I know that Chip Sousa was talking about this yesterday. You got to put a salary cap on it. And if you go over that salary cap, you got to start paying checks. That was his words verbatim. And I agree 100%. Salary cap, go over it, pay a luxury tax. You have to keep some fairness. You have to keep some competitive balance and some parity. Because there is some, but there's not a lot. And then you start to have a huge space between the haves and the have-nots within your conference. And you can't have that. You have to have the parity. Because if you have parity, you have a better product. So you're asking folks to spend $4,200 a year just between parking, tickets, donation, foundation dues, and NIL expenditures a year, or $50 to park at a NFL stadium. That's the lowest, and that's probably hiking or taking a bus to get there. $300 a shot, between $300 and $800 depending on where you sit. And NFL ticket sales have went up 38% in the last year. That's huge. Reason why I want to go over that, kind of rehash that with you all, is I want to put in perspective the detail that I'm going over right now, because folks are starting to migrate. Folks are starting to go from the NFL or from the college game to the NFL game, simply based on the fact that they are able to watch their team more available or less expensive than, say, for instance, the college game. Now, don't get me wrong. If you want to watch your college team, the accessibility is through the roof. That's what it is right now. And there's a lot of accessibility. If you want to watch any SEC team, you have a couple of different platforms to watch it on every weekend, and you never have to leave your house. Spend $70, $80 on a streaming service. If you got a smart TV, and I think by this point, a lot of people have smart TVs. So all those games are at your fingertips, literally. You don't have to spend the extra money to go to the games and participate and partake in all this that goes along with it. But you've alienated a fan base at the same time, where it kind of makes them feel like, hey, you know what? If you're not able to spend the money, don't come. And that is not what you need. You need to be more inviting. You need to be more open-armed. You need to be more fan-friendly. And there's a balance that, the brass at the University of Arkansas are trying to find, but still stay competitive. And I think that there needs to be a common ground met somewhere between both parties. It's just that you've got to find the right guy to do it. Is Hunter the right guy to do it? I don't know yet. We'll have to see. But Monday didn't help. And I'd love to see him succeed. He seems like he's a pretty genuine guy. I've talked to the guy. He's a very genuine guy. A lot of people don't get to see some of the stuff that myself or Dudley or Otis, our interactions that we have. They're all positive. They've always been positive. He's been gracious. He's been welcoming and greets you with a smile and a handshake. It's great. At the same time, he has a very difficult job to be able to balance everything that he has on his plate. Because let's face it, there are some folks in this university bandwagon that love the university are never going to be happy. Some of them only if their way is, if they get their way, or they the things that they like or they want align with what they want. Other than that, they're just going to be upset 24/7. I mean, hell, we've seen this on Hogville for God knows how long. Well, since 2003, whenever the thing was created. But at the same time, as a fan, you have to be a fan of the cloth. I've heard this before. You have to be a fan of the jersey instead of the person. And the university is asking you to be a super fan of the person and not the jersey. So, well, I should say super fan of the player and the jersey itself. So that's where it's kind of a difficult line there. Throw your comments, questions, concerns, throw them up here. I'll go over them here. We'll go on here for just a few more minutes. It's disheartening to see where there's so many people that don't back a program that I start to see the rumblings of the end of the era of a couple of different coaches that we've had here at Arkansas. You start to see things pop up, things come out of the woodwork, or stories that we haven't heard that all of a sudden started to appear when something might not be going right on the hill and it's starting to take that spiral down a little bit. I don't think that that's this time yet. We're only a quarter of the way through the season. Arkansas is 2-1. And believe it or not, they're a third of the way to a bowl game. A third of the way already. Now, they have some pretty tough road games. They have some tough home games coming up too. The question is, are fans going to continue to gripe as Arkansas wins? Or are they going to let it just slide for a little bit longer until the next loss happens again? Because one of the things that I posed on here a couple of weeks ago was, if Arkansas lost to Texas at home, beat LSU at home, and made it to a bowl, would that be a successful season? It was a Twitter poll that I'd ran up. And most, I would think that the majority of it, I think it was like 60 or 70%, said that yes, it would be a successful season. The reason why I want to throw that out there is because successful seasons and NIL fundraising go hand in hand. They do. So when you have a winning program, people are going to be more apt to give more money. The only situation that I see with that is that the cost of living in Northwest Arkansas is up. It's been going up for the last 10 years. Average rent is right around $1,000. And that is saying that the average rent coming out of the pocket of the monthly income is right around 22, 23%. The national average is 26%. So Northwest Arkansas alone is just a little below that. But the state of Arkansas, I do believe, is right around that, maybe a little bit higher. I have to look. So needless to say, the income crunch everybody's feeling right now because of the higher prices at the store. I'm hoping as we see the energy prices go down, it really starts to have that trickle effect back to the stores, which makes things a little bit more manageable. You saw the Fed rate today uh, decrease by a full half point, which that's a great step in the right direction as well. Um, which I think is fundamentally huge because it's within 60 days of an election. But the reason why I want to bring that up is because it does go hand in hand with how much money people are able to contribute. Because right now, the University of Arkansas is asking you to donate in one way, shape, or form or another, 5 different ways. One, donation to the foundation. 2, donation to the NIL collective. 3, parking donation. 4, season ticket donation. And 5, the TV revenue donation that you stream each month on that television. That's a lot of money, especially when they're already paying over 20% towards the place that you're living in. That's not including utilities. That's not including gas on your car or anything like that, groceries. And you got to save a little bit to make sure that if something happens in your life, you have a little bit to fall back on. And a lot of that is not there for folks right now. And so you're asking for more money and you have no more money. That's the first thing that people start throwing hands about is I don't have any more. So why do you want more money from me? Like I said, Hunter Yurachek is a good guy. He really is. And I'm not going to sit there and blow smoke up your ears about that because I've met the guy. I've talked to him once or twice, casual passing, super nice, very cordial and friendly. Didn't have to be, but he was. He's been that way with all of the Hogville staff and all the folks at Pig Trail Nation, everybody. And I think that winning can cure a lot. I don't know if it can cure all, but it can cure a lot. And it can make things feel a little easier if you want to put the money out. End of story. But there are a couple of things that I do feel like that the NCAA really needs to step in and institute before the rest of this mess gets out of control even more than what it is. That is a salary cap across the board per sport. Per sport. When you salary cap per sport, you're able to spread more out and makes things way more even. Salary cap across the board for each sport. 2, transparency, maybe not on how much the student athlete is getting, but at least how much money is being contributed to each sport. That's where a lot of folks have that biggest problem is I'm throwing money into a huge bin and I have no idea where the hell it's going. People want to know where their money goes. They want to feel good about it. Give them some reassurance and saying, because of your donation, our team is doing great. And this is why. Because this is where it went to. Now, can you have you really start to get into the designation part? That really kind of hurts a little bit. But it would be nice to say, you know what? We have a cap on each sport. You can give X amount to that sport. And if that cap has already been met, you go to the next sport and you give your money to that sport. If you don't want to, then don't. But I think that would help because that's giving you some autonomy on where your money is going. So I think that that's something that really could, that could be at least a little easier for folks to understand that not only was their contribution made, they knew where it went and they understood that it actually helped the student athletes. It just wasn't thrown into some machine and said, okay, where's it going? Well, I don't know. This is just where it needs to be put in. So I want to thank y'all for jumping on with me tonight. I know it's kind of a rant. It was a little bit of a ramble. It was fun for the most part. I enjoyed it. I think that getting some of this energy out and everybody kind of listening vicariously, engaged, semi engaged, whatever it is, it helps because us at Hogville want you to know that we feel the same way that you do because at the end of the day, we have a job to do, which is cover the University of Arkansas. Our job's easier when they win. Our job's easier whenever you all are enjoying our content that we get, that we put out. So it's kind of that's also another catch 22. If they're winning and we have good stuff to write about, you all are happy. So again, throw those comments up if you guys want me to go over anything before I get out of here, because I got another show tomorrow night with Otis over at Torchy's Tacos, as you can see above. Go over, check out all of their great products. We got 2 locations in Rogers and Fayetteville. You can try their taco of the month, which is the tailgater. Also got the house-made queso that's made daily. Also, we'll have a trivia question tomorrow night. Nobody got last week's right. Nobody guessed it right. The answer, and I'm shutting that down. So the number of winning Razorback football coaches that had a winning record when they left the program was 19. Arkansas's had 34 total. The actual number is 19. So we'll come up with a different trivia question for tomorrow night. I do have the gift card from our first week winner of $25 to Torchy's Tacos. He said he's got a friend that he's wanting to give that to, so we're going to get that over to him. I finally got that in. So, like I said, make sure to join us every time we go live. Make sure to hit the subscribe and like button for the Arkansas Hogville, or I should say the Hogville.net YouTube channel, so that you can catch all of our great content that's free and live. Whenever you get that notification, you can watch us at any time, or go back and watch us on old videos and get some receipts and say, hey, by God, you said this and this and this, and well, this didn't happen, or hey, you screwed up here. Let us know. So again, I want to thank everybody for joining me tonight. And I want to thank you to the folks that also participated. And this has been a Hogville.net special NIL conversation. Y'all take care. Have a great night and go Hogs.